For years, Australian rules football has been electrified by the speed and skill of Aboriginal players. While Indigenous Australians account for under 3% of the population, in AFL the number is 3 times that. Clubs now scour the country looking for talent, including some of the most remote and disadvantaged communities in Australia. Mike Sexton reports on one such case.
This is the Hawthorn Football Club grinding through its pre-season. The training session is overseen by a statue of its revered patriarch John Kennedy, whose simple coaching creed was, "Don't think, do." And what the Hawks have done in recent years is reinvent their playing group by courting Aboriginal Australia.
We as a club pride ourselves in the fact that we do embrace the Indigenous culture through Sean Burgoyne and Chance Bateman particularly, being our elders at the footy club, but to have Cyril Lance, Derek Wanganeen and a past where we've actively sought to recruit Indigenous players.
But this year the club has reached further than ever before by recruiting Amos Frank, who's arrived in Melbourne's eastern suburbs via the western desert of Central Australia.
Yeah, I come from desert, but yeah, it's ABY land from Fregon.
Interviewing Amos Frank isn't easy, not because he doesn't want to talk. It's just English is not his first, second or third language.
The family happy,
Yeah,
the family proud?
Yeah, family's proud, yeah. All happy, family, mother, dad, yeah, grandpa, nana and all that, yeah.
Although he's virtually unknown to AFL followers, Amos Frank has long been a star in his remote home at Fregon in the Unagal, Pitjantjatjara, Yankunytjatjara lands near the South Australian Northern Territory border. Here he learned the game playing on dirt, in steaming conditions, and with the occasional donkey at half-back.
Exciting to watch the APY lands and the guys from Port Lincoln and St Junior and that play, but the issue for us is structures, because they can go out and do this magical stuff on the field, but they've got to be structured to go to training, to make sure they do their career, make sure they have a work while they're at their footy.
Who plays the forward one?
They're all forwards, aren't they?
Everyone's forward. We'll rotate it through, so we'll just get a few guys up here.
Amos Frank's first glimpse of city football came when he joined a program run by the South Australian National Football League under the eye of former Adelaide Crows champion Andrew McLeod.
We just bring the boys down and provide them with an opportunity to, and I guess open their eyes to what's available outside of footy.
Played with North Adelaide, played every game.
What is available is a chance to use football to open doors to education and employment, something reinforced at a dinner one evening.
You know, there is these opportunities here, and for far too long our mob have been, we've been down there, and it's time for us to stand up.
Given the language barrier, it's unknown how much Amos Frank was able to absorb, but in the oldest of football cliches, he let his play do the talking. And the league arranged for him to return to Adelaide to play a second-grade match with local club Woodville West Torrens. And among those in the crowd was Hawthorn talent scout Jeff Morris.
Jeff came back pretty excited about this kid that could kick both left and right foot, and whilst Amos didn't do a great deal in that game, it certainly showed enough for Jeff to follow up.
But this was no simple follow-up. Hawthorn officials had to travel to Fregon and navigate through Unagal culture. Amos Frank is 24 and an initiated man, meaning he has cultural responsibilities at home that don't include heading off to play football 2,000 kilometres away.
We met his grandfather, Roger, who is also an elder of that community, along with Alec Henry, and they have given permission for Amos not to fulfil all his obligations. He has a responsibility and a job to come down and play football at Hawthorn, of which they understand, so that he doesn't need to go back for every obligation that a normal initiated man would need to go back to.
In between his training sessions, Amos Frank has English lessons. But the education goes both ways. Hawthorn staff are being taught about life and culture in remote Australia.
Andrew McLeod and myself and other SANFL staff will work closely with Amos, and we'll visit him quite regularly, make sure his family's happy, because the whole community's behind it.
Our clubs are becoming a lot more embracing in regards to their Indigenous players and other players of culturally diverse backgrounds telling their story in regards to their particular communities, and in a respectful manner.
For the AFL, Amos Frank is more than a curiosity. The league has poured millions of dollars into Indigenous football programs, including in the APY lands.
I think at a most fundamental level, yes, it does play a significant role in reconciliation. I guess our next challenge is how do we ensure that that continually grows, where it's a message in the broader community and not held within the confines of a particular football club.
When the AFL season starts, there's no guarantee Amos Frank will be in the Hawks side. But for many involved, just seeing a man from the desert country in Melbourne is already a triumph.
Hopefully, this story can be a success, but it'll be a success when he plays his first game. It is partly a success now for the relationship between, as you say, black and white, but it's sort of, it's more about football, and that crosses lots of divides and boundaries.
Played some rugby league in the country, never had to sidestep a donkey. Great story there from Mike Sexton.